Hey guys, and welcome back to the Blue Podcast Network. This is the Blue Podcast. Today, as you can see, we're in a different location. Don't always do it in this studio, but we're doing it in the studio today. I've got Dan and Henry with me.
So,
how are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, no, I'm alright.
Not too bad.
Good. And today, all the way on the other side of the ocean, we have El Soccer Guy. How you doing, mate?
Good. I'm pretty sure you guys hate the word soccer, but it is what it is, you know?
Well, one of the first things we were going to ask is, it's called football, so why are you called El Soccer Guy?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, that's how it is in America. I was considering having a football, but since my audience is in the US, when it comes to marketing, I was like, I have to go with soccer. Sadly, I apologize, but it is.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. Why don't you let our audience know what it is that you do?
Well, I mean, I have two jobs, which is what I'm doing right now. Content creation. I go to soccer football games in the US. I've been to Mexico. I'm going to Canada actually next week to just enjoy the beautiful sport. And I do multicultural marketing as my full-time job.
Okay. Oh, nice. Nice. And how did you get into all of that? What was the start?
I started on TikTok probably like 3 years ago. It was a funny video that involves the Mexican national team. If you've seen us, we're pretty horrible. But I think the best videos that do well for me are when we lose. So I did this video of me dressing up in the whole kit, and it went viral. I got like 1 million views, and then from there I was like, maybe I could do this more. So, and then from there, that's what I've been doing.
Nice, mate. Nice. And so, what would you say you kind of do more funny content or educational content in your opinion?
Mostly funny. I like to make people laugh. I do want to make educational content when it comes to visiting stadiums, visiting different teams, going to games. I want to give people information on how to, where to go eat, what to expect at a game. Maybe I'm trying to do more interviews with people. So I love being funny, but I want to be more educational, more engaging, trying to be that guy to go to when it comes to soccer in the US.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, obviously, it's probably quite. If you do football content in the UK, it's quite a diluted market.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing in the US it's a bit different. Am I right?
Yeah, it's still a young sport over here. A lot of people, I think, we have different sports. We have baseball, football, American football, hockey. So it's hard for the league to compete over here with so many sports, and then with football outside of the US. So for me, it's really hard for me to watch the Premier League because the games are at 4, 5, 6 in the morning. It's really hard for me to wake up. But it's a growing sport. I think because of Messi, I think a lot of people are actually figuring out that MLS exists.
It's better, yeah. I mean, you've had experience of having to wake up or stay up late.
I used to live in Singapore, so I used to be staying up at like 3, 4 in the morning to watch any Champions League games or midweek games, just really late at night. But I wanted to ask as well, because you say you cover like the US football. I'm assuming you've been to many of the stadiums, and if you have been, which is your favorite and why, really? For any reason.
Yeah, I want to say I've been to like maybe 9, 10 different stadiums in the US for football games. And my favorite, it's got to be it's Atlanta, Georgia. It's on the East Coast.
It's a nice ass stadium, that one. It's ridiculously nice.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's a beautiful stadium. If you ever go, you'll see why. I want to go see the Mexican national team. Unfortunately, they tied against Honduras 0-0. It's probably the worst game I've seen. But the stadium overall, it's beautiful. I don't know.
Would you still say that is like number one in terms of atmosphere with fans, or is it just stylistically, like design, architecturally the best?
I think it's a mix of all of that. It depends who plays. When the Mexican national team plays, it's a crazy environment. I think it gives me that European fan atmosphere because Mexico fans are wild. But when it comes to MLS, there's nothing like Los Angeles Football Club, LAFC, which is my club. But the stadium's a little small. It's like 20, 25,000. But I'm not trying to be biased, but I've been to all these other MLS teams, and there's nothing like LAFC.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot of Mexican influence on the team of LAFC, I think, as well. At least the players they had signed before. I don't know if they're still playing
Yeah,
there. I'm not too caught up on the squad in the MLS right
yeah,
now.
no, yeah.
I remember they had like Carlos Bea, I think, was there,
Mm.
and a couple others, Dos Santos.
Yeah. Is it still like that in LA? That quite a Mexican football basis.
Right now, no. Carlos Vela, he just recently came back. He has like a contract through the end of the season. He was been out for like the last year. But
Okay.
I think in LA they use Mexican players like well known to grow the team in the league. But right now, I think people are starting to notice, and they're getting more players like Giroud, which is like the most random player.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would come on. Yeah.
Well, we're Chelsea fans, so
Yeah,
we've seen Giroud play before. He's a
uh,
very good signing for them.
I think it's a great signing.
Yeah. Who
yeah.
is your MLS team then?
He's at LAFC.
LFC. It is LFC. Yeah. Sorry, I completely missed that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But how do you think you're going to do this season?
How does what?
How do you think you're going to do this season?
I think we're now right now we are second or third in the standings in the league. But over here in MLS, it's I don't know. I think you probably think it's kind of weird, but we have the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference, so we have like 29 teams. So um, we're right now we're in the West Conference. We are second in the league. We always tend to make playoffs, which is also kind of what I hate when it comes to winning the cup. You know, you gotta qualify to make the playoffs, and then from there, once you qualify, there's this thing called, which I really hate, honestly. It's called the first round of three or something. So you qualify, and you gotta win 2 out of 3 games to go to the next round, and then from there it's knockout. I hate it. I don't even want to tell you because that's what I hate.
So
I,
essentially, they kind of make it similar to like the NBA, where they qualify from both
yeah,
conferences and then get to a playoff and then bang it
yeah,
out
it
there.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like that before. It used to be just knockout after that, but it's just they're saying it's for entertainment, but it's all about the money,
Of
which I
course,
also hate.
yeah,
Yeah.
just to make
Yeah,
more matches, to make more money.
Exactly.
But it makes sense as well as to grow the sport, I guess. Like
yeah.
that's their way of finding a way to grow it, I guess.
Do you think it will ever go to the European format? I guess where it will be if you win the league, you will win the league. Like that's it. Or with relegation and promotion, because I know that currently in the MLS there is no relegation and promotion.
Yeah. I think everyone in the U.S. wishes for promotion relegation at least. I think when it comes to like winning the league, the one with the most points, we call it the supporter shield. So if you have the most points within a season, you get the shield. But people over here don't think it's a big deal, but for me it is, because I mean I'd rather have the most points to be first throughout the season than win the playoff thing. Uh,
Yeah,
but but I'd rather have, I think maybe like 10 years we'll have promotion relegation, just because we the MLS obviously they care more about the money, because I think over here if you want a new club you gotta cough up like 5-10 million to just start. You gotta pay to play, and
yeah,
some of
literally.
some of the
The only
local
thing
teams.
about Miami when it kind of came through was that it was he did a deal where he could have it on the cheap, and then I think
Yeah,
the more recent franchises, from what I understand, you have to pay like hundreds of millions
Yeah,
as an
yeah,
entry fee.
Yeah, so that's. I remember speaking to someone about this. It was if you're a player, they can put into your contract in the MLS. For example, I think it's in Messi's contract where he can start up a club for a lot less than if someone wasn't, given that contract and just wanted to come in. Am I right in saying that?
yeah. That's just messy, but yeah, no, yeah. He has like that discount thing or whatever it is. But other players, I mean, if you're not Messi, you're not gonna be able to do it. And like I have a local team, which is it's a small club. There's probably like less than 3,000 people stadium. They're like what do we call it, second division over here, but it's not really second division because it's not affiliated with MLS. But we do have like a cup where the small teams can play against MLS, but they don't have the budget to buy big time players to even compete. It's nice seeing them there, but I'm trying to be realistic. They're never going to win that cup.
Yeah, I was about to ask you actually about like the second division. Did you say there's no promotion relegation? But I do know there are smaller U.S. teams, but like you said, I guess they're not affiliated with the MLS at all, well, except for this one competition. But like, are there any like local teams? I guess like smaller teams that around your area that you kind of like follow?
There's one. They're called the Orange County Soccer Club. Um, I used to work there as just like regular staff, just because I love the sport, and I was able to. Oh, I actually met Drogba there, which was the most random person too, because he used to play in second division in Arizona. But I met him in the locker room. I just asked him if I could take a picture, and he said yes. And I was like, oh shit, it's crazy. Who would have thought Drogba playing in California in a second division team?
Hmm.
Uh,
And
but
I wanted to touch as well on kind of the youth system that kind of feeds into the MLS. I know someone I spoke to, I think he was part of SoccerX, mentioned that it's actually really difficult unless you have loads of money to become
yeah,
a professional soccer player
yeah,
in America. I just wanted to get your views on that because obviously you've got to go through the college system like in American football, whereas obviously in the UK, if you're good enough, generally you'll be found and make it. Whereas in the US, it seems like that's not necessarily the case.
yeah. There's two. I want to say there's probably three options. The first one, you do have to pay to play if you want to go join one of their academies. So let's say LAFC has a LAFC two team, which is their their academy, I guess, in a way. So they play also like the local teams, which is basically our second division, or any other MLS team. They do have some sort of youth team where you have to pay to get in. The second option is if you go to university or college over here, you're good and you're playing for their team. You might have a chance to get drafted into an MLS team. The third option is you must be really good that the team sees you and they'll be like, "Hey, join us and we'll pay everything," which is rare. But it's really difficult to be in a youth academy, not pay anything, and then be signed from a pro club team.
Also, there's a lot of Americans and Canadians seem to move into Europe. Is that a thing that you guys notice over there?
I think that's what I've heard. I'm not too sure about that part, but it's been mentioned.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw a clip of Thierry Henry talking to, I forgot, I think that was an American pundit or something, and asking him name like the best American talent in the MLS right now because most of them have left the MLS and they're playing in Europe. Most American talents that are really good now, they're not playing in the US anymore. And more of like European talents that are good and more playing in the US. You know what I mean?
Or as they get older.
Yeah, I said like it's just if you ask me name an American player in the MLS right now that's like the best one or like really like world class talent, there's not but you can find them in Europe.
Yeah.
American players in Europe that are really like high quality players. But nowadays in the US, like they probably have left by that time. Like Kevin Sullivan, the guy who's playing for, was it New York City FC? And he's like 16 or something.
Oh
And
yeah,
he signed there early for Man City, so he's going.
Yeah.
He's eventually going eventually, but he will never even like step on foot on the pitch for New York City FC as an 18-year-old balling. You know,
Yeah.
he'll already be in Europe.
Does that improve the standing of the league, in your opinion, if you have all these players playing in Europe and building a reputation of American football, soccer players? Does that then help people go, oh, I should watch what the American league is and bring more fans to the MLS?
it's funny you mentioned New York, because I mean they have two teams, but the one I'm one talking about is New York City Football Club. That's where David Villa, Pirlo, um,
Yeah.
used to play. Yeah, they play in a baseball stadium, which is horrible. If you've seen it on television, it's embarrassing. And I had to watch that game because I'm trying to watch as many Messi games as possible before he retires, and it was just like, damn, that's
Yeah.
the Europeans are laughing at us. I know it, I see it, but no, yeah.
Wait, have either of you guys seen Messi play? Like in person?
Yes.
I haven't, no, unfortunately.
So I went to the 2012 Chelsea versus Barcelona first leg in the Champions League when Chelsea fan for context.
That's nuts.
When Chelsea won 1-0, and I saw Messi lose to Chelsea. So I mean I've had my experience.
That's fucking sick.
Uh,
No, but I was gonna ask, like, now both of you have seen Messi, but like maybe your example isn't the best. But how good is he when you see him in person? Like the movement. I'm assuming you're watching the football as well. You see the movements he makes, the passes, what he sees that probably everyone else doesn't see. Like, how good is he when you watch him?
I mean, I wish I could have watched him in his prime, but I feel like I'm
Yeah,
still in.
that's
But he still does. I mean, let's be honest. MLS players aren't that great. I mean, when it comes to quality, so like they're a little slower from what I've seen, but he goes around them like nothing. Like it's like if you're watching a grown adult play against kids, it's funny. But the first time I saw him play was in Dallas, Texas, which was the new tournament called the Leagues Cup, which is just like it was a tournament between MLS teams and Liga MX teams. And the things he does, man, it just makes it look easy. Like you can see it on television, but when it comes to real life, I was like, damn, how? You know, that vision that he has, the accuracy. I think his team was losing like, I don't know, 2-3-0, and then they ended up winning in the penalties. They ended up equalizing 4-4, won the penalties, and they won. It was probably one of the best games I've seen.
that's crazy.
Fair enough. No, and I've got a question for you. Which league do you think is better, the MLS league or the Saudi league?
Oh, I can't answer that because I've never watched Saudi League game. I mean, I've never been tried. Even
I don't know.
I've
Has
tried
anyone
watching
watched the
Ronaldo.
Saudi League game?
No, I haven't watched
That's,
that.
but I mean, does that not maybe make it a better league then? Because like no one really watches the Saudi league.
I've seen the pictures of no people in the stadium when it comes to watching Al Nasser, but I mean, I don't know. I've never actually wanted to watch the Saudi league, even with Ronaldo. I mean, I like Ronaldo. I have no hate against Ronaldo, but I think I think they're just it's all the money for the players and nothing. There's no actually passion,
Mm.
no interest for the sport.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And you spoke to me about the fact that you've been on a European trip before. Am I mistaken?
Yes, I did that last year. I actually went to Stamford Bridge. I was going to talk about that, but
Hey.
No.
I did a quick
Sorry to
tour.
hear that, mate.
So you saw the Champions League trophies and stuff.
Before I left. What is it? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
So you saw the Champions League trophy and all its glory there.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I saw it. I wanted to touch it, but they didn't let me, so I was like,
Could have brought it back to the US for you.
would have been nice. Yeah. Who do you support? Who do you support?
I'm a United fan. So, Man United, Manchester United.
Oh, we're on the same page. We're struggling every day.
Exactly, it's depressing as well.
I don't even want to talk about it.
At least we've got the memories of the many Champions Leagues that we've won, you know. Multiple. Obviously, you've been to Europe. You've seen our European football, and obviously you watch MLS all the time. If you were given the choice to have the American teams enter European competition like the Champions League and all that stuff, would you do it? And how do you think that could benefit? If yes, how do you think that could benefit MLS teams?
Nah, we'll go straight to the championship. It's not gonna work out. We're horrible. There's probably like at least 2, 3 good teams that would probably that would maybe make it mid-table, maybe mid, but nah.
Yeah.
I'm realistic as possible. We'll probably even struggle against like Southampton. No.
Do you think Inter Miami would be the only team that have a chance, or?
I mean maybe, but the thing about MLS is that they have this rule where when it comes to like salary cap, so there's certain players. I think there's like 3 or 4 players that can be paid over a certain amount, and then from there, once you pass that limit, you can't buy more high quality players. They're trying to make the league as balanced and competitive as possible, so every club has a chance. Which I kind of like, but at the same time, I think it's preventing MLS from being able to compete like with Liga MX teams, because Liga MX have like no budget. They'll buy anybody if they have the money.
Yeah, there's something I heard as well is that there was like an under 18s Mexican national team game, and it had, I can't remember where it was in the US, but it had a bigger crowd and a bigger like kind of scene than a typical MLS game.
Yeah, it's I think I can't remember which one it was, but it depends on who's playing. But that tends to happen a lot. It's just MLS is still it's up and down when it comes to attendance. Not,
Mm.
not everybody's a fan of the game.
And would you say that the Mexican national team gets more of a viewership than the US national team then?
Oh yeah, I mean Mexican national. It's because obviously I'm a fan of the Mexican national team, but we're also struggling. We're like Man United right now. We're struggling a lot. We used to be in our prime. Now
I feel you.
now we're now we're shit, and a lot of people would rather people just go to have fun. They don't go to see our team win something. But Mexican, every time every time the Mexican national team pulls up, there's always fans, no matter what. Except like the last two games, because it was like I don't know what the weather you guys do over here, but over here it was like 100+ degrees Fahrenheit, which is it's really hot. And it's funny because they're actually playing against Valencia, the club, La Liga club, in this month because we couldn't find any other team that would play against us, which is kind of funny.
Again,
Okay,
interesting.
that's really interesting. Well, so you said am I right? I've not misheard this. Mexican national team versus Valencia.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. I think October 12th or 15th.
Well, is it happening in Mexico as well?
Yeah, it's happening in Puebla. It's happening.
Yeah, it's not too. I would say it's not too dissimilar to like when a club comes to Singapore, they play Singapore's national team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're not gonna play like a fucking S League team, bro. That team is so shit that they can play one player and win probably. You know what I mean?
That's something that's unheard of.
But usually it's pre-season when it happens as well. It's not,
okay.
So it's pre-season for the club, and they go to the country they play the national team in the country, a smaller country like Singapore.
Yeah, in all fairness, though, if a Premier League club were to play.
Like the US national.
I was thinking more the English national team. Like there would be too much crossover.
Yeah.
But I suppose I can't think of any Mexicans playing for Valencia. So.
No, but I think it's more. Not so much about that. I think it's also just like the time of the season, like midway through the season now, like for Valencia, that is.
That's really interesting.
But speaking like the natural segue, Mexican national team, US national team, Copa America. What did you think about the North American teams being involved and the Central American teams?
Oh, I loved it. I watched it. Sadly, Mexico shit again. I'm not surprised, but that's what we need, the competition. But it was crazy. I don't know if you saw that the final was postponed because of fans going to the stadium. That's embarrassing, especially because the World Cup's coming up. So when it comes to not being able to even host the Copa America, I don't know how they're gonna do it. But in general, that's what I've been wanting is because the Gold Cup for CONCACAF it's like that cup that it's there, but I don't really care about it. It's either Mexico or the US will win it. The level of competitiveness isn't even there. So I'd rather play against Brazil, Colombia, or Uruguay than Haiti or Costa Rica.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you think that MLS teams could somehow get invited to the Common as well?
The what?
I'm thinking Common Ball.
Yeah.
The Copa Libertadores. Copa Libertadores. Yeah.
He's butchering that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all good. They have I wish they could. I feel like they would. They had the Libertadores and the Sudamericana, which is, like under the Libertadores, but
Yeah.
I heard that CONMEBOL would try to invite Miami so they can just have Messi play against, them. Yeah, but I think even if they did invite him and we threw our best teams, they would probably struggle.
No, I think they will struggle for sure.
Yeah.
Like against the likes of Palmeiras and
Palmeiras,
Corinthians, all these teams. They'd be too strong.
Mm.
But I do think like for Copa America, for example, like more eyes were on that competition the moment there's like the US is involved, Mexico's involved, all these other like Canada, Central American teams, and North American teams. I think CONMEBOL, like the Copa Libertadores and Sudamerica, they both will also get more eyes on. I think it's some MLS teams are there.
Yeah.
Just from people who are interested in those teams, really.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, no, yeah, I want to go see Brazil, Colombia in California, like up north. And it was probably the best game I've seen when it comes to fan base, environment, experience, the teams. It was probably the best international game I've seen because I'm so used to watching Mexico play. I was blown away by the whole experience from start to finish.
And we briefly touched on your European trip. I
Yeah.
kind of want to hear a bit more about it. Like, what did you actually do apart from going to the home of football in Stamford Bridge?
The first game I saw was I want to go see Barcelona. I landed in London, and the next
Yeah.
day I flew to Barcelona. I want to go see Barcelona play against Shakhtar in the Champions League, which was like a dream to watch any champion.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, Barca's my club. We won obviously against Shakhtar. We feel like they at home, so they had to beat them. But after that, I want to go see Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. Ted Lasso is a big thing over here in the U.S. I don't know if you guys have seen the show or heard about the show, but
Yes.
I saw Crystal Palace play. Selhurst Park is really nice because just the whole how it neighbors all the houses from the people. It's something I'm not used to over here when it comes to the stadiums. When you go to a stadium here, it's either freeways, highways, big malls. Over there, it's like you can literally cross the street and you're at the stadium, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But if you ever come back to England for a venture, you need to check out Luton Town Stadium because that is built into houses. Like someone's back garden will back onto the
Oh, really?
stadium. Yeah, it's right in the heart of the city. So that's definitely something you need to check out next
You
time.
essentially walk through someone's back garden. Like you can peek into their back garden. And
As you walk
Yeah.
into that.
Which club? Which club was it?
That's Luton Town. So they've just got
Oh,
relegated from the Premier
yeah.
League.
I've seen the videos. I actually wanted to go, but I didn't have time. But I did also I did go see West Ham too. I went to London Stadium and I saw Ajax in Amsterdam. And then after that, I want to go see. I want to do the stadium tour in Stamford Bridge just because there were no games, and I wanted to, it was either between Chelsea or Fulham.
I think you did the right choice.
I think you did the wrong
I'm gonna
choice.
go
Shooting on the
with
Fulham,
Chelsea.
mate.
Well, what I will say about Fulham is their stadium's really nice now.
Yeah.
They've got a whole hotel and like sky pool and everything at Fulham Stadium. They've really made it a hub. There's no longer just a stadium, kind of multi-purpose stadium of it. Crazy.
What was the best stadium you went to?
In Europe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the best stadium that I don't know.
You got the no one?
Proof Stadium, just because I was there and it's a big stadium.
Yeah. That's fair. And have you been to Europe other than that trip?
No, just last year. I mean, I also went to the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. It was also a stadium tour just because there were no matches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm all about football, man. That's the only reason I want to go to Europe, just to see how it is over there.
Yeah.
What is the football culture like in your experiences? Like, how is it different in Europe to in the US?
It's funny you mentioned that because when I went to go see Crystal Palace, I was obviously I'm trying to make content and I was on my phone and I think people would give me that eye that why is this guy recording? Watch the game, and I would get those eyes. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know if it is that or just that stadium, but people actually watch the game in Europe, and in the US, they'll either they'll be on their phone, maybe not watch the game. And the fans, the passion is there in Europe. Over here, I feel like it's not very close to it. And for LAFC, we have a supporter section, so we cheer, we chant throughout the whole game, and you don't see that in other games in the U.S. or in other teams in the U.S. So, Yeah, I think people that love the sport will go along with a mixture of people just want to hang out and go out to experience something new.
Yeah.
Well, a big thing in that people in the UK do laugh about are some of the MLS chants.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
chants, bro.
What is your opinion on the chance difference? Because obviously, you've got "I believe that we will win" for the MLS, and then you've got every swear word under the sun if you're in England. So, which do you prefer?
I mean, obviously European chants, just because everybody knows it and they're all in sync. It's funny that if you ever, I'll see if I can send it to you guys. But there's a chant for this team called the Columbus Crew. They're walking the streets chanting. It's probably the most horrible chant I've heard from an MLS club. It's embarrassing. I don't even want to
I think I saw a clip of that one actually by the Columbus Crew fans. It was
Yeah,
really bad.
yeah. It's like something
So,
clap
like,
your and then something clap your hands, and it was just
Yeah, yeah. It
yeah.
was horrible.
It's pretty bad.
it's not very nice.
No, as in like it's stupid.
Oh,
like
stupid.
it's stupid.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
No, it
Because
is.
it's like something like if you like you said, like that song, the clap your hands,
Yeah.
No way.
But it's like they re-change the words or something.
They
like that.
use "if you're happy, if
Yeah.
you know it, clap your hands" as
Yeah,
a chant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically that.
It's so bad.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so
really
bad.
bad.
Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Check out El Soccer Guy. He will put his link down below. And if you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.